Hello and welcome to another episode of the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Connor Moreno, lead writer for UCLA Bruins on SI. And today I figured we would kind of dive back into our depth chart roundup. We kind of took a break at that because, the Bruins had media days. We had a whole lot to talk about. There were some recruiting updates that we had to get to. I don't think we've touched this depth chart series for the better part of a week. But today I wanted to get into a specific position group because it's a position group that DeShaun Foster, UCLA's head coach, actually had a good amount to say at in Big Ten media days. So we're going to kind of talk about the position group. We're going to talk about what DeShaun Foster said about that position group at Big Ten media days. And overall, just continue this depth chart roundup as we head into preseason, as we head into fall camp. By the way, fall camp starts on Thursday. No, is that Thursday? Fall camp starts on Wednesday. Sorry. Yeah, fall camp starts out on Wednesday, July 30th. The Bruins are going to be in Costa Mesa. Wasserman Field is getting new grass in, so it's not going to be ready for the Bruins. So they're practicing in Costa Mesa for about 2 weeks. Anyways, yeah, let's get right into it. Sorry, let me just clear that real quick. Pull up this depth chart that I have. All right, so we are going to move on to the linebackers today. I wanted to talk about the linebackers because DeShaun Foster kind of had a lot to say about them at Big Ten Media Days, and it was a position group that he called the deepest room, the deepest position group on the team. Very interesting subject that we want to talk about. I want to go ahead and kind of read his quote. He was sitting down with Wayne Cook and Nick Coop and talked about the linebackers. Nick Coop was actually detailing how he was pretty surprised that, despite constantly, losing talent, especially this last season, losing Kane Medrano and Carson Schwessinger to the NFL, that there's always seemingly linebacker talent at the position. But yeah, DeShaun Foster said it's probably one of our deepest rooms. It's pretty hard for Scott White to recruit in this class right now because guys are like, there's too many guys. That's a good problem to have, but we've got to want to just keep going. We have the right type of kids because they want to get developed. Obviously, this linebacker position was one of the many positions on the defense, headlined by some good returners, but then bolstered by the transfer portal. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get into these the players, kind of ranking them kind of on the depth chart and whatnot. But first we have John Vaughns. He is a redshirt senior. He's been one of the most consistent figures on UCLA's defense throughout his career in Westwood, and he's returning as one of the top linebackers. John was a two-sport athlete. He played baseball as well, but as DeShaun Foster said at Big Ten Media Days, he is fully committed to football in his final season of eligibility, which means he was with them for all of spring practices, which he typically wasn't because of baseball, and he's going to be with them for all of fall practices. He redshirted the 2024 season after playing just 4 games. He enters his 6th season in Westwood. He has quite the lengthy resume, over 48 games with the Bruins. He started in 11 of them, all in the 2022 season. He's totaled 113 tackles, 64 solo. He has 6.5 tackles for loss and a sack and 2 interceptions. His best season was, of course, that 2022 season as a true junior, where he started all 11 games and put up 53 tackles and both of his interceptions. So, and he represented the Bruins at Big Ten Media Days. I would expect him to have a tremendous season. Probably his best season of his career, barring injury. And yeah, he's one of 2 Bruins returners that is kind of headlining this position. The next one is Jalen Woods. He's a redshirt senior. He's also one of the more tenured figures on UCLA's defense, and he's projected to have an increased role compared to prior years. He's entering his 4th year with the Bruins. He's played in 27 games. In his first season, which would eventually be redshirted, he played in just 2 games as a backup linebacker, and he accrued 5 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss. The next season, which was in 2023, he played in all 13 games, and he finished with 11 tackles and 2 TFLs. In his redshirt sophomore season last year, he played in all 12 games, and he improved considerably. He had 22 total tackles, 15 of them, were solo tackles, and he had 2 tackles for loss and a pass deflection. So that's 2 returners, and it's always good to have returners that are kind of headlining your position group, especially considering this kind of era that we're in college football, where most of a team could be made up by the transfer portal, which, by the way, UCLA has a ton of transfers coming in, about 29, 30 of them coming in. They have the number 20 transfer class in the nation. But yeah, it's always good to have that kind of familiarity at the position group, especially your top 2 players that are projected to make the most impact on the team. Anyways, let's move into some transfers that are coming in. Isaiah Chisholm, he's a redshirt transfer sophomore. He comes in as a transfer from Oregon State, and he was a prominent figure in the Beavers defense last season. He finished the season with 75 tackles, and he had a forced fumble in 12 games last year. He's one of the few prime candidates to replace Carson Schwechinger's production from last season, along with Woods and Vaughn's. And whether he's a starter or not ahead of the season as a redshirt sophomore with a few more years left of eligibility, he should have a promising future with the program. I would definitely expect him to make an impact this year, especially behind Woods and Vaughn's. But even if he doesn't, as I said, if he doesn't play a lot, he still has a long future ahead of him with UCLA, should he plan to stay, because we never know that much in this transfer portal. Up next, we have another transfer, Benjamin Perry. He's a redshirt senior. He's actually switching positions. He was previously a safety. He comes to Westwood by way of Louisville, and he's also kind of hoping to compete for that starting linebacker position, or at least one of them. With the departures of Medrano and Schwechinger, he certainly has a chance. DeShaun Foster did say that this is one of the deepest rooms, and I think that's true, because you have four prime candidates that can compete for a starting position. Last season, he had 29 tackles, he had 3 TFLs, and he had a sack for Louisville. If anything, he can tap into his skills as a safety to navigate coverage in the middle of the field. He's projected to start as UCLA's Sam linebacker. The only flaws he might face are because, he was a former defensive back, he was a former safety, so he doesn't have the typical frame necessary to be super disruptive as a linebacker. But like I said, he's athletic, a former defensive back, he can tap into those skills. And yeah, those are the 4 kind of prime players at the position this year. They're going to be insanely deep. They have so much depth at the linebacker position, which is arguably one of the most important positions on the defense. And Bruins fans can look forward to a ton of versatility and a ton of depth, as I've said, at the position. So yeah, that's going to do it for the linebacker depth chart roundup. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow.